Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn more about Do you know where it is? Grammar from the book Supergall. Let's start with comparative and superlative forms of adjectives. If I have the sentence buses are fast, I want to make it comparative. So I'm going to compare buses with, for example, trains. I'm going to say trains are faster than buses. I just add er to the adjective fast. So here we compare between two things. The superlative, we compare one thing with many things. For example, planes are the fastest. So I compared plane with many things like with cars, with trains, with buses, and I add est with the adjective. So planes are the fastest. We have irregular forms. For example, we have good and bad. If I'm going to change the word or the adjective good with the comparative, I'm going to say better, and superlative the best. If it is bad, then I'm going to say worse, then the superlative the worst. Now I have some examples. To complete the sentences, use the correct form of the adjectives. Number one, the downtown area is usually noisier than the suburbs. So I compared the downtown with the suburbs, and so I used a comparative. Noisier, I just add er at the end of the adjective. Number two, the hospitals in cities are usually better than ones in the country, so I compare cities with country. I used comparative better. Public transportation is less frequent at night than during the day, so I compared night with during the day. But here we have a long adjective, so instead of adding er at the end, we add less frequent. Okay, for example, if you have like comfortable, beautiful, long adjectives, instead of putting er at the end, we just add less or more or most. Now, number four, my hometown has the cleanest air of all the towns in this country. So I compare my hometown with many towns in the country, maybe 4, 3, 100, wherever. So I add est at the end of the adjective. Number five, many people say that Sao Paulo has the worst traffic in the world. So I compare Sao Paulo with many countries in the world. Number six, the subway is more crowded at rush hour than at other times. So more crowded because it's a long adjective. Housing is usually less expensive in the country than in the city. It's comparative again, and I use less expensive because expensive is a long adjective. The cost of living in small towns is usually cheaper than in big cities. So again, it is comparative, and I add er at the end of the adjective. Now we have comparisons with as. So we use it to say that two things are in the same or indifferent. You can just use the word just for emphasizing. Let's see an example. In Japan, trains are as expensive as planes, so they are the same. This hostel is just as comfortable as the hotel. So do you see the word just is only to emphasize the sentences here. So we have also indirect questions. The direct question, for example, what is the name of the street? If you want to make it indirect, we say, for example, do you know what the name of the street is? So we removed the verb to be is from here and we add it at the end of the question. So it's going to be, do you know what the name of the street is? So for today, we learned more about comparative, that we add er or more or less. Also, we have learned about the superlative, that we add est at the end of the adjective, or if it is a long adjective, we add much or less, and as and indirect questions. Thank you for listening.